Aditya, just break it down for us. Omar Abdullah said, this is our Jallianwala Bagh.
Apart from being a journalist, I am also a Kashmiri on this debate. So I think, personally speaking, I have great appreciation and respect for the Chief Minister and for his very pragmatic and logical approach ever since he took office. But I would very strongly differ from the kind of position that he has taken. I think Omar really needs a history lesson, not from a Kashmiri, not from a Hindu, but from any neutral historian to tell him the reality of 1931. If he is comparing 1931 with Jallianwala Bagh, tell me where exactly was this kind of a freedom struggle being fought? Who was this, protesting, and who were they protesting against? What is the reality of Abdul Qadir, who was planted by the British out there to divide the communities, to divide and rule, and also create a kind of a rebellion against Maharaja Hari Singh? And if at all it was a kind of a genuine democratic protest by the Muslims of Kashmir, then why exactly were the Kashmiri Hindus attacked? Why were their women abducted and killed? Why were there protests, violent protests that led to arson, plundering and attacking and burning of the Hindu shops in Amira Kadal, in Maharajganj, in as far as Vicharnag and other places in Srinagar and the adjoining areas? So the reality of the matter is that for decades together, ever since 1931, a wrong history has been taught, and the Kashmiri politicians have fooled the masses, just like they fooled the masses on Article 370 and 35A, telling them that there was some kind of a Muslim rebellion happening against the Maharaja in Jammu and Kashmir. Kartikeya, in reality what it was happening was a pan-Islamist agenda.
Okay.
They wanted to unseat the Maharaja and create some kind of a problem. Lastly, in my hands right now, I don't know if it would be visible on the camera.
I'm getting this produced.
On screen.
On screen, it will be there in 2 minutes time.
This is a clipping from July 18th, 1931, done by the Tribune newspaper. The title says, "The Kashmir Riot, Harrowing Scenes, Schoolboys Hurled into River." And it then gives a detail of how there was a trial of Abdul Qadir that was underway in the central jail in Srinagar near Hari Parbat, and immediately there were more than 1,000 mob of Muslim men who came in, and there was a riot that was deliberately planned in that area. And when police tried to control the mob, there was a mob attack on the jail, and that led to firing, and at least 22 people died subsequently there and at Maharajganj and other places. But the reality is, if it was a genuine protest, as Omar claims, and Omar says that these are martyrs, then why immediately did they next attack the Kashmiri Hindus all across Srinagar? Their entire houses and business shops were attacked. So, my question here being, throughout the history, what happened in 1990 with the Kashmiri Hindus, I think it has a history to 1931 also, because the reality is they did not want Kashmiri Hindus there. They saw Kashmiri Hindus as Indian first, and that is why in 1931 itself, the attacks, the plundering and the ethnic cleansing began, which led to subsequent final exodus in 1990.
Okay. Opening comments from Colonel Tikoo?
Well, I am really surprised that Omar Abdullah should say that it is Jallianwala Bagh. Obviously, he neither knows the history of Jallianwala Bagh, nor does he know the history of what happened on July 13, 1931. And you also used your word, which I very strongly object to. You said that Dogra army. It was not a Dogra army. It was the army duly constituted by the Maharaja. It was recognized by the British Empire, and the J&K was part of the states which were under the British Empire, though they were autonomous. So to use the term that Dogra army, it was not Dogra army. As a matter of fact, in Vicharnag, when Kashmiri Pandits were attacked, it was a Muslim colonel of Dogra Raja who took the palace guard to save the Kashmiri Pandits. Now coming to the particular incident that you are referring to, it was a huge mob which attacked Central Jail because they did not want the trial of an accused under various serious acts of the existing laws to take place. And as a matter of fact, because they were not allowed to get inside the jail where the trial was to be held, they attacked the guard room, burned the guard room, and took 4 policemen, apprehended them, and it was only after great deal of trouble that they were released. But incidentally, after that, they still continued to attack the jail premises and the trial could not be held. It was only after great deal of persuasion that they refused to accept the orders of the government. The session judge was there, the superintendent of police came there. Almost every big person was there to persuade them not to resort to violence. And then police had to resort to firing. They were a bunch of hooligans who did not allow the law to function in its proper form. And what happened immediately thereafter, as Aditya rightly pointed out, where was the need for them to target Kashmiri Pandits and Hindus? You know, he did not mention there was a place called Kanikut in Badgam district. 9 members of Kashmiri Pandit family were axed to death. And this is on record. And when subsequently a court of inquiry was held, a commission was ordered into the whole thing, it was clearly brought out that the British resident, Wakefield, who was in charge of police and home department, had connived with Sheikh Abdullah to create this problem for Maharaja Hari. Though ostensibly, just a minute, though ostensibly it was against the Maharaja, it was against the Dogra rule. Why were Kashmiri Pandits and non-Muslims targeted?
Colonel Tikoo, let me just take opening comments from everyone. I'll come back. I'm not ending the debate. Danish Iqbal, to you, political analyst and former spokesperson, Jammu and Kashmir National Conference. Is it correct to call it a Kashmiri Jallianwala Bagh episode, which Omar Abdullah said, sir?
Well, Karthikeya, I would not go into the debate of history. It's something that the two gentlemen who spoke before me, they have also cleared the air to some extent. But I would rather leave it to more organized, more detailed research to a fair degree of expertise that comes with the studying of history as a subject. But Karthikeya, I'll tell you something distinct here. My problem with all this is a little more fundamental.